NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the J All Day Sports Show. In today's episode, we're going to go over my Week 17 predictions with scores. We went 10-6 last week, which is not too bad considering an absolute slew of underdogs winning games like my Eagles losing to the Commanders. Jalen Hurts gets a concussion in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter. The rest of the game is history. Jaden Daniels balls out. We are 86-31 the last 7 weeks and 162-79 for the season. So we continue to be one of the best places on YouTube to get your NFL predictions. All right, guys, I'm really excited about Week 17. There are some teams still alive like the Dolphins and the Bengals fighting for spots. That NFC West is still wide open between the Seahawks and the Rams. Lots of good games. Let's get into it. All right, NFL fans, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're getting closer and closer to 13,000 subscribers. It's all because of you guys. I really appreciate it. Now, we're going to kick off Week 17. Only 2 weeks of the NFL season left. I got tears in my eyes, guys. I've had so much fun talking ball with you guys this year. Christmas Day, 2 games. Netflix is taking over the NFL now. Chiefs at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, this is the first game I want to talk about. There are some question marks with the Chiefs' offensive line. Joe Tunney, the guard, has moved to left tackle because DJ Humphries is out. Jawan Taylor, the right tackle, is also questionable. Big concerns at right tackle. George Pickens for the Steelers was a full participant in practice on Monday. That's a huge deal for this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. We have to take that into consideration as well. Chris Jones popped up on the injury list as well as questionable. Another injury we have to keep our eye on, guys. I'm very excited about this game. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers at home to get a victory in a very close game, 23-20. With Pickens back, really opens up some things offensively. And the way these two teams match up, the Chiefs are really struggling at the tackle positions, both left tackle and right tackle. And then these guys, Tooney is not a left tackle. He's just not. He's one of the better guards in the NFL. But moving the tackle is a whole nother ballgame. He's held his own, though. But this week, it's Alex Highsmith and T.J. Watt. Good luck. I'm going with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 23-20. And then the later game on Christmas Day, I want to wish all of you guys a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Baltimore Ravens, Houston Texans. Big, huge season-ending injury for Tank Dell. The dislocated knee, the ACL tear, really sucks. We saw how emotional CJ Stroud was. Those guys are besties. Really sucks because Tank Dell has been balling out with Nico Collins and company. They already lost Stephon Diggs for the year. Very sad. But I like the Ravens in this spot. They're 5.5-point favorites. I just like them in this spot. Also for the Texans, right guard Shaq Mason is doubtful in this spot. In a spot where the offensive line is already struggling. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL with penalties, especially on the offensive line. Tons of pre-snap penalties. They're just getting really thin at the wide receiver position. And if the offensive line isn't very good and intact, it really slows down the potential of Joe Mixon, who I thought was a really great addition for this team. I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. We'll have to see if Nelson Aguilar is going to play in this spot. The Ravens are a little thin at wide receiver. The Texans also signed Deontay Johnson off of waivers. We'll see if he's going to be able to get up to speed and get into this game. He had a very short stint with the Ravens. It didn't really work out for whatever reason. But I'm going with the Ravens to win this game pretty handedly, 27-17 on the road. All right, then we got another Thursday game. Seattle Seahawks, Chicago Bears. The Bears have been awful, guys. Straight up awful. They've lost 9 games in a row. They showed a little bit of a heartbeat last week, but you got to remember, the Lions got out to an early lead. It seems like they took the pedal off the metal a little bit, and they still have 21 guys on IR. Unbelievable that they're still able to win games with all those injuries. Probably the most decimated roster I've ever seen in covering football over the last 10 or so years. Seattle Seahawks are going to win this game. It's a must-win game. They cannot afford to lose this game. If they lose this game, it pretty much wraps up the NFC West in a bow for the LA Rams, who have a challenging game this week as well. I'm going with the Seahawks to win a closer game than people think. I'm going to go 23-28. Seattle Seahawks get a W on Thursday. Guys, we also have 3 Saturday games this week. We got games on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, a whole week of NFL football for you guys. I am very excited about that. Also, guys, if you're interested in sports betting, I put out my videos for my members only. $4.99 a month. You get all of my bets each and every Friday. I got tons of messages from you guys this past week, winning huge amounts of money on the bets that I put out for you guys. Nothing makes me happier than to make you guys money. It's only $4.99 a month. Not too shabby. Back to these Saturday games. LA Chargers, New England Patriots. The Patriots are reeling a little bit. They've lost 5 in a row. The Chargers need to keep pace with the Broncos, so we'll have to see how this game shakes out. But the Chargers are on the road, but I don't really think that matters too much. I do like the Chargers to cover the spread. I really, really like that spot for the LA Chargers. Patriots just aren't very good. They don't have a lot to offer in the offensive perspective at all whatsoever. The running back room, I wish they would have got Jalen Polk a little more involved. It seems like he's got some locker room issues going on, but I think Drake May will be good in years down the road. They just need to get him some weapons in free agency, a better offensive line. Right now, the Chargers are looking pretty dominant, in my opinion. They had that little hiccup versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I think the Chargers right the ship this week and kick the snot out of the Patriots. I'm going 30-13. The Chargers dominate this game, run the ball down their throat. Ladd McConkey balls out. I like the Chargers in this spot. Next up, we got the Denver Broncos and the Bengals. Man, oh man, I've been going back and forth on this game all week. The Bengals have looked a lot better lately, right? Denver Broncos are a 500 team on the road. The Bengals are not very good, guys. Just straight up not very good at home, 2-5. So they don't really have too much of a home field advantage. But they've been playing a lot better football lately. I think they've won like 4 out of 5, something like that. They've looked pretty dang good. But the Broncos are very well coached. They got a solid defense. A bunch of guys that you never heard of that just come to play each and every week. Led by Pat Surtain, one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. But he looked a little lost in the sauce last week, guys. I'm not going to lie. I think Jamar Chase cooks him. I'm going to go with my original instinct and pick the Cincinnati Bengals at home, right? In this spot, can Bo Nix, the rookie quarterback, keep up with Joe Burrow? I think that the over's definitely in play, and this could be like a 34-30 type of game, in my opinion. I think the over's in play. I like the Bengals. I think Joey Burrow hangs up 25 to 35 points. Can Bo Nix keep pace? Remember, this Bengals defense is not very good at all whatsoever. I think it's going to come down to a last-second field goal. I'm going 33-30. Cincinnati Bengals get the W. Next up, Arizona Cardinals, LA Rams. Man, the Arizona Cardinals have been a disaster. The Rams have won 4 in a row. The Cardinals have lost 4 out of 5. And Trey McBride still doesn't have a touchdown. How? How on God's green earth can you have a weapon like Trey McBride in Week 17 and have no touchdowns? This offensive coordinator needs to be fired immediately. I have some other notes on this game, guys. Left tackle, Paris Johnson, he's out. Jonah Williams, the right tackle for the Cardinals, he's out. I like the Rams in dominant fashion. 34-17. They blow the brakes off a reeling Arizona Cardinals team. All right, NFL fans, let's move on to the Sunday slate. New York Jets, Buffalo Bills. The tale of 2 different teams. Jets are 2-6 on the road. Buffalo Bills are 7-0 at home. The New York Jets have 4 defensive starters that are questionable in this spot. The Buffalo Bills defense is a little bit banged up as well. I think they have 4 or 5 guys that are questionable too. But Aaron Rodgers questionable in this game. He just does not look like himself. He's cooked. He's an old man. The Buffalo Bills dominate at home. They got to go up to Buffalo in the freezing cold. The Jets defense has just been a dumpster fire since Robert Saleh got booted out of town. Aaron Rodgers comes in. What a parasite he is. He got the GM fired. He got the head coach fired. And guess what? Nothing changed. Aaron Rodgers still sucks. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. 31-20, the Bills dominate at home. This is an interesting game as well because the Colts are technically still alive versus the New York Giants, who are an absolute dumpster fire. Still yet to win a game at home this year, guys. What a pathetic existence it must be to be a New York Giants fan. OMG. Colts get the W here. It's going to be cold in Jersey. It's going to be cold. It's going to be in the 30s. Anthony Richardson the last few weeks played in Denver, so he's, I guess, sort of acclimated to the cold weather. He went back in the dome last week, back on the road this week. I like the Colts to win this game 24-12. I like the Colts in this spot. Anthony Richardson still isn't where I want him to be. He's really utilizing his legs a lot better, and Jonathan Taylor balled out behind that great offensive line last week. I think that happens again. The Giants and no Dexter Lawrence. I think Jonathan Taylor has a monster day. That's why the Colts get the W. All right, next up, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys. In Philadelphia, it's going to be freezing cold. It's been cold as shit here. We just did a road trip across the country from LA to Philly. It's been freezing cold. We got a little bit of snow this morning for Christmas Eve. Pretty cool stuff. But I like the Cowboys getting the plus 9 points if you're a spread guy. I'm not sure if Jalen Hurts is going to play or not. If Jalen Hurts plays, I am taking the Philadelphia Eagles. If not, I'm going with the Cowboys. But I don't think that concussion was that serious. We've seen a lot worse concussions this year. We'll see how he goes through the week to get through the protocol. We'll have to keep our eyes on that type of situation. But as of now, I'm expecting Jalen Hurts to play. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles win a tight game, 26-23. Jake Elliott lands a last-minute field goal to seal the W for the Philadelphia Eagles. Next up, Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Guys, I would not be surprised at all if the Carolina Panthers win this game. But it's a must-win spot for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they have to play better than they did last week. The Panthers N +8 is a live line, in my opinion. If I take a look at some of my notes from this week, Carolina is 1-5 on the road. Pretty dismal on the road. So we got to take that into consideration. This is a must win. And an injury we have to keep our eyes on is tight end Cade Otton. They really missed him last week in the offense. You could really tell. Because Sterling Shepard has been playing okay, but he got banged up in that game. They're pretty much a one-man band passing the ball with Mike Evans last week with no Cade Otton, right? Big-time turnovers by the running backs. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers in a close game, 21-20. But I like the Carolina Panthers, man. I really do. No Antoine Winfield, it looks like. Again, he's not practicing, so I might switch this pick on my Friday final picks to Carolina because they've been playing pretty good, man, and Tampa Bay is just so hit or miss. But they are at home. The Panthers have been pretty terrible at home. That's why I'm going to stick with my pick on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 21-20. Titans at the Jaguars. This is a weird spot, too. So far this year, the Titans are 2-6 on the road. Mac Jones and the Jaguars came back down to earth. From a betting perspective, I am avoiding this game like the plague. But Mason Rudolph played a little bit better last week, and I like the Titans' defense a little more than I like the Jaguars' defense. So that's why I'm going to roll with the Titans in a very close game, 24-23. The Titans surprise everyone, get a road victory here, guys, in Week 17. This game couldn't matter less. There's going to be probably 25 people in the stands, but I'm going to roll with the Titans. Another game that no one's going to give a shit about, the Raiders at the Saints. I'm not a big Spencer Rattler fan. He hasn't shown me shit yet. So I'm going to go with the Raiders. Aiden O'Connell's been playing better. Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers. He's got some weapons there. I think he's going to be able to move the ball a little bit in this game, even though it is tough to play in New Orleans. But these Saints fans aren't going to be rowdy like they would be if this game actually mattered. So that's why I'm going to go with the Raiders to win a low-scoring game 17-16. Next up, Miami Dolphins, Cleveland Browns. Miami Dolphins are still alive in the playoffs, guys. Still alive. Dorian Thompson-Robinson got the call at the quarterback position last week. He played like shit. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Dolphins are a must-win spot. I'm going with the Dolphins. Hopefully, Jaylen Waddle will play in this game. He was out last week. The offense really missed him. He's just another speedy element to that offense to complement Tyreek Hill. The Miami Dolphins defense has actually been playing pretty good too. And minus Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett, this Browns defense as a whole has been underperforming. But I do think this game might be a little bit closer than people think. I think it's going to be a tough, gritty, kind of punch you in the mouth kind of game. I'm going 28-26. The Dolphins get a victory here, guys. Next up, my favorite game of the week. Packers-Vikings. Huge injury news from last night. Christian Watson and that knee. It's not looking good for him to play versus the Vikings. I already like the Vikings in the spot. I like it even more now. The Vikings have a very good defense. They got a top 5, top 10 defense. The Packers looked pretty good last night, but they're playing the Saints and a rookie quarterback playing in Lambeau. Ay caramba. We'll really see where the Packers are at this week. On the road, playing the Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings in a high-scoring game. I'm going 30-26. The Minnesota Vikings get a W. I just want to look over my notes real quick and see if I have anything else for you guys. Minnesota has won 8 in a row. So, I mean, they're one of the teams to beat. As we get closer and closer to playoff time, I would not want to play them in the first round of the playoffs. All right, Atlanta Falcons, Washington Commanders. Yo, this Falcons team is in the bottom of every conceivable metric on the defensive side of the ball. They have no pass rush at all whatsoever. They've given up big games of 38 and 42 points in the last 5 games. They give up a lot of points. They can't stop the high-powered offenses, guys. They just can't do it. I'm going with the Washington Commanders to use that momentum of beating the Birds last week to kick the living dog shit out of the Falcons. I'm going 28-20. The only reason why it's that close is the Falcons snag one in garbage time. Dan Quinn against a rookie quarterback in his second game. I like Dan Quinn in this spot against Michael Penix Jr. I love the Commanders to dominate. And then wrapping up Week 17. Once again, guys, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. I'm here on Christmas Eve bringing you guys the goods each and every week. That's why you got to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Lions, 49ers. Trent Williams is done for the year. One of the best, if not the best, left tackle in the game. What are we going to say? The 49ers are reeling. They're not playing as a unit. There's a lot of dysfunction in that locker room that is kind of permeating onto the field right now. The Lions are just balling out, man. Balling! I'm going with the Lions to win big. 34-20. Absolute ass-kicking. Jared Goff might even get pulled late in the third quarter to rest up a little bit as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. The Lions are fighting for that number 1 seed. Them and the Vikings are neck and neck. The Eagles losing last week kind of kicks them out of that spot. I'm going with the Lions to absolutely dominate. Guys, enjoy the holiday. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're almost at 13K. I appreciate you guys so much. Peace.